scan, or the last time I launched the scan. As you see, everyone, I have an error in the last scan, or the last time I launched the scan. So I troubleshoot the error to save time and correct it, and I will show you how I did troubleshooting. First, I went to the scan. There is an error. Here is the error message codes that we have in Tenable Security Center. Now let me go and log out from the user. You need to go to the admin user and log in. If you go to system, you go to system logs and you find here the errors. As you can see here, here's the error. The code is 146 or 146. And you can go to the Tenable help page and search for the code. As you can see here, the code 146 have a lot of options or choices or results. But it's related to the scan IPs. So I want to do the following. First, go to the scanners. In the scanner, make sure it's working and it have the last update. Check your scanner and update the plugins. Make sure the plugin is updated. You can download the logs from here. I don't need to do that or edit it. Just refresh and have the status as working here, and the uptime, and so on. Then you need to go to the scan zones. Last time I add the zeros as a range. I did not add the /0 like this one. It means all the ranges will be scanned using this scanner. So you need to add, here's the scanner, you add the /0 as you can see here. Then in the repository also I added the /0. It means all the IP addresses will be saved in this organization. This is the only error that I did. That's why I have an error in the scan. Let me go back to user one and check the result for the scan. Yes, it's completed. We can check all the scan with the error status and delete it. Now for the completed scan, we can click on it. It will take us to vulnerability, to analysis vulnerabilities, and show us the vulnerabilities or the results related to that scan. So as you can see here, here is the plugins that use in the discovery, the OS identification, the ping and NISA scan information. We can change here. I need to know how many IP addresses that I have. So from this one, you change the view for the let's say the vulnerability results. So I have those those IP addresses, 8 result, and I have the score. There's no score because this is a discovery, not an assessment. And the vulnerabilities, you have 2 or 3. Those are the discovery plugins. Let me log out from this user and go to the admin again. As you can see in the license status, there is no currently active IP addresses. So the discovery is not used or the discovery hosts or the discovered hosts will not be counted in the license. So do a discovery scan as much as you want. If you go to system and configuration, then license, you will find out, as I told you, there is 0 currently active. So in the discovery again, the discovered hosts are not counted against the license. Now let's talk about the analysis for the IP addresses that we have in our discovery. If we go and change to IP summary, you will have the IP addresses here. If you go and asset summary, you have the asset lists. As you can see here, Windows host, we have 6, not in DNS 19. Okay, we have CCE summary, a lot of ways to show your list OS. As you can see here, we have Windows Server 2012, TP-Link Archer, Windows. That's why I use the operating system. You can filter from this one. You can load queries. You can search for addresses. You can add plugin names or severity. Okay. If you want, you can customize by adding any other fields or filters here. You can add agent ID, accepted risk, asset, audit file, CVE ID, CV scoring system, version 2 or version 3, DNS name. You can search for plugin ID, you can search for plugin type, ports, protocols, and so on. You can discover those filters by yourself. And we have the cumulative and mitigated. Mitigated means that those vulnerabilities was corrected in our environment and they are corrected successfully. Cumulative, the vulnerabilities and the information that is active right now. Let me go and choose IP summary. Let's go to this IP address. If you click it here, you can find information, quick information about it here. And if you click the ACR or the vulnerabilities, you would go inside the details. If you want, you can choose this plugin, the OS identification. Here you will find more information about the vulnerability. Let's assume it's a vulnerability. As we know, this ID is for discovery, but let's assume it's a vulnerability. Here's the synopsis. It's the information about the ID or the plugin ID or the plugin, sorry. Here's the description about it. Here's the plugin output from Tenable. We got the TP-Link Archer. Here's the discovery information. It was first discovered today, last observed today. We have the host information here. We have the repository where we save this information. We have the asset criticality rating. This is a rating from Tenable. Why its ACR is 7? Because it's internet exposure. This one is exposed for internet. They don't have the device capability, but the device type is network router, so Tenable assigned this criticality rating for this device. Here's the common vulnerability scoring system. Version 2 severity is none because this is a discovery. If we have exploit, we will have it. Here's the plugin details. We will check another report for let's say more criticality vulnerabilities. So this is all about the discovery scan. I hope everyone will test it in your environment. Let's now talk about another scan policy. Let me go to, you need to log in by the user or the security manager and go to scan policies. We will go here to add. We talked about the discovery. This is the first one that, or it's important to do it. Right now, let's go to our basic network scan. We will name it basic network scan. You can add the description as you want, add a tag. You can look here for the configuration, and those configuration or 3 options, they were reflected here. So in the advanced, you have default or scan low bandwidth links. This is for any networks with bandwidth issues. Or you can custom the performance here. As you can see, general settings. Let me go back. Keep it on the default, the advanced tab header right now. So it's default, I'll keep it on the default. In the discovery, you can choose to scan all common ports or scan all ports, or you can create also a custom. If you go here, you can see that we have port scanning and service discovery tabs are enabled for customization. For now, I will keep it common ports to make it quicker. And in the assessment, you can use the default, or you can add the web vulnerabilities, and it's quick or complex. I will add the web vulnerability quick. And here is all the information about this scan. Go to the report and check the settings here. I'll keep it on the default. And you can add the authentication. We will not add the credentials here, but if you have SNMP credentials or configuration, you can add them here, SSH and so on. I will not do any changes here, and I will submit it. This is my default basic network scan. So we'll go to active scan. I will go. Let me try to copy this one to keep my targets as they are. Right now, let's edit this one. We will name it basic network scan unauthenticated. We will choose the basic network scan. We will keep the schedule on demand. Go to settings. It's the same repository. If a timeout occurs, discard the results. I will enable this one, the virtual hosts. Track the DHCP targets here. It's the same targets and credentials. If we will need to use them, I will not use them right now. And submit. It's saved successfully. We can run it right now. To have a good result from this scan, I will change the targets. I created a newly installed CentOS machine and Windows 10 machine. So I will choose to add 2 IP addresses to get the result faster. Then I will save or submit again. Let's go and launch the scan. To check the scan results, we'll go scan result tab here. It's pending. Wait for a couple of seconds and it will be started. Yes, here is the status changed to 2%. As you can see in my screen here, my basic network scan is finished successfully. I ran the scan twice. I will show you why. Let's go to the first result. As you can see here, there is 39 results. If I go to IP summary, you will see that I have some information about this host, which is CentOS or Linux. The firewall is turned off on this CentOS. And this one is a Windows machine. But as you can see here, there's only 4 vulnerabilities info. And this one have the Windows firewall turned on. That's why we need to whitelist our scanners IP addresses on the clients by adding them to the firewall trusted IP addresses to make sure that our scanners can find the client's vulnerabilities. So our scanners must be trusted over the host firewall, and no firewall must exist between the scanner and the client to get accurate result. No firewalls, no nothing. So let's get back to our scan result. Here's my second scan result. The first one was 39, this one is 47. The vulnerability increased. If you can see here, I have more information. I have the net BIOS and I have medium vulnerability discovered and 30 info. The score is changed to 3 and I have more information. Make sure to turn off or don't turn off firewalls. Make your scanner IP address trusted. And now let's go to our scan results. So as you can see here, here's the vulnerabilities that I have on the 2 devices that I scanned them. You can view them by IP summary. Let me go to this CentOS machine. Here's the info. So it's time to filter. I don't want the info. So I will check the low, medium, high, and critical and apply. As you can see, here's the address. So I have those vulnerabilities, and let's go to web server vulnerability. Here is the information about the vulnerability. Here is the synopsis, the description, the plugin output. This is our web vulnerability. Here's the discovery, the host information. Here's the asset criticality rating, the risk information, exploit information, plugin details, and so on. As you can see, here is the solution. So you can ask your team to go and apply the suggested solution here. Once your admins told or inform you that we solved or we applied the solution, you can go here and click this button, Launch Remediation Scan. It means go and scan this host for this vulnerability ID. We will see it right now. So here we have the accept risk. It means I accept this risk and I will not solve it. Or recast risk, it means that this is an accepted risk, but right now I don't accept it again. So the first one, the launch remediation scan, is the most important for us. So let's press on the launch. As you can see here, here's the name, here's the plugin ID, here's the plugin name, it's a web server, and so on. We can go check all those and submit the scan. Go back here to scan result. We will find here an active scan. We need to wait this scan until it finish. Our Tenable finished the remediation scan job. So we go back and check the scan results. As you can see here, there is no critical or medium vulnerabilities. The vulnerability was closed. So if you can go here to mitigated, you will find that the web server allows password auto-completion in the mitigated. You will not find it in the cumulative. So let's go to our Windows machine to check another vulnerabilities. Here's the IP summary. As you can see here, if you go to analysis, vulnerabilities, here is no scan result in the title. These are all the vulnerabilities that you have. If you press the cumulative, let's go to our Windows machine. We will go to the filter, apply it. We have this vulnerability, and here is the solution. Here's links for information about this vulnerability. As you can see here, the discovery, the host information with the MAC address, NetBIOS, and repository. The ACR is 4 because it have internet. It don't have internet exposure, it's internal, at its a general purpose device. Here is the common vulnerability scanning score version 2 and version 3. Exploit information, yes, we have an exploit for this vulnerability, and the exploit are available. The plugin details, here's about it, and here's the vulnerability information. And that's it. I showed you how to read the reports, to change the view details, and so on. We have the cumulative and mitigated, as I told you. So right now, let's go to another scan. In the authenticated scan, the NISA scanner authenticate to the target and find out what services are running on the target, then start searching for vulnerabilities related to these services. It will not do a random test or check open ports from outside. It will check the running services after authenticating to the target. After the discovery and the network basic scan, it will not take time and it will not overload the targets. Let's click on the scan result. I will check the IP summary. As you can see here, we have a lot of vulnerabilities over my domain controller. It's a Windows. Let's click on it. To check if the authentication was successfully, you need to search for the following Tenable plugin. Here is the plugin that we need to check. It's a settings. It's 19506. Let's click. You need to go down here to the plugin output. As you can see here in the credential checks, it must have yes, and here is the login. That means that the authentication was successfully to the machine. Let's go and check that for the CentOS. Here it is again. And as you can see here, yes, we have authentication successfully. This is how you can create a credential patch scan. In this lesson, I will show you how to do another basic network scan with more result. Let's go to our scan policies. Go to basic network policy that you created earlier, or you can add another policy as you want. Basic network scan. I will name it basic with credentials. Okay. Here I need to check something. I need to check the performance and the time duration that it took. So I will put all ports and choose the quick for the all web vulnerabilities and nothing else. Okay. That's it. So right now let's go to active scans. I will add an active scan. I will name it basic scan with credential. Yes, it's the first one. In the settings, nothing will be changed. In my targets, I will choose IP. I will add my domain controller IP address and my CentOS testing machine, or the remote storage that we used in earlier lessons. I will add the credentials for Windows and the CentOS and nothing else. Let me submit the scan. Here it is, basic scan with the credential, and launch. Let's go to scan result, and we will wait until it will be completed. Our basic scan with the credentials completed successfully. It took 20 minutes to scan 2 IP addresses with all the ports. Let's check the result. We have 300 results. In our last scan, the credential batch scan, it was only 220 results. It might some more info plugins or results, but trust me, you will have more results when you create a credentials batch scan. So try it in your lab, in your environment, and you will find more results. If we go here to IP summary, let me go back to scan results. In the IP summary, we have here, I can see the correct number. Yes, 36, critical, 73 high. So do it in your lab and you can check the result. Here is my Tenable IO sensor and it's working, and there's no problem. We just want to wait until we have a result from this agent scan. Hello everyone and welcome to this new lesson from Tenable Security Center course. Today we will talk about the compliancy scan or the compliancy check. In this type of scans, you need to configure the audit files first and the credentials, then the policy, then you need to run an active scan. So let's start by going to scans, audit files. You need to add an audit file template. As you can see here in the comment section, we have a lot of common audit templates. We have the Aruba OS, we have the Arista, Blue Coat, Cisco, we have the FortiGate, we have Windows file contains Windows and Unix, and so on. Let's check for the Windows. We have a lot of check here. So let me check my Windows machine to choose an appropriate one for it. I have Windows 2016. Let's search here. We have all those the compliance templates. This is the computer information systems. Here's another compliance standard and so on. So you need to check. This is for PowerPoint, for Sky, Visio, Office. This is the, I don't know what the standard stands for, but it's for Server 2016 Data Center. Let me check for domain. Yes, they have for domain controller, but it's for 2008. let's get back to 2016. I'll choose this one. I'm testing this for the first time. It's no problem, but you need to add a name. Then, as I told you, we need the credential. Here's the Windows credential. Go to policy and create a policy compliance auditing. And in the compliance, you need to check for the Windows, and it's done. And you need to submit. Now you need to create the active scan. You need to type the name as you want and choose the Windows audit policy. In the setting, nothing will be changed. Targets, you need to add your target. Credential, you need to add the Windows credential if you are scanning a Windows device, and submit the scan, then launch it. Go to scan result and wait until the audit is completed. Our scan completed successfully. Let's click on it and check the results. As you can see here, we have a lot of findings related to the Active Directory and the Windows, I think so. We have the minimum password length, account lookout duration, threshold, and so on. So here's the result. You can do it in your lab and check the result as you want. Thank you everyone, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Hello everyone, and welcome to this new lesson from Tenable Security Center course. Today, and after we did our discovery scan, we did the basic network scan with the credential, we did the batch audit scan, we did the compliance scan, we also connect our Tenable IO to Tenable Security Center. We have a lot of data in our server and security center, so we need to start analyzing those data. To analyze the data, you need to go to analyze, and of course you need to log in as a security user, not admin user. We can go to vulnerabilities from the analysis. Again, analysis, vulnerabilities. This is the main window, because the last time we were talking about the audit, we have the opened scan result for the Windows audit. To switch to all the findings, click on cumulative, and here's all the findings. As you can see, to make sure we are talking about all the IP addresses, change the view to IP summary. So the first thing that you you can change the view from here as you want. You can check the asset summary. Those are the assets lists created by default from Tenable Security Center. I will talk about them later. But as you can see here, we have the Windows host and how many vulnerabilities on the Windows host. We have exploited by malware, antivirus is current, and Linux host, and so on. So we are seeing the vulnerabilities by asset summary. You can go and choose anything from the list. I like the IP summary and the OS if you want. As you can see here, we have CentOS 7. We have a lot of other OS systems. So here we have a lot of options. One of the greatest option, and we will talk about it later also, is how we can prioritize our mitigation and how we can close all those vulnerabilities. It's the remediation summary. Here, as you can see in the results, we have this updates or KB from Microsoft. If we apply this KB, we will reduce our risk by 34%. You can see here that the affected host is 1. We have 67 vulnerabilities related to this KB or vulnerability. You can check the other one here. This will reduce the risk that we have by 8.5. Yes, here one of the fix SSL self-signed certificate is affected, or there is 2 hosts affected. If you click any one of those, it will take you to more details about it. Let me go back to the summary. Now we have also the vulnerability list or summary. It's very good view. You have all the vulnerability lists and summary here. As you can see here, here is the vulnerability. The vulnerability list actually is very good dashboard, or sorry, it's not the dashboard, it's a view. So you have a good information about the vulnerability, the severity, and so on. So I show you how to change the view. Right now we have the filter. The filter has a lot of options. You can customize the filter and add some fields to be used as a filter. So you can search. I will choose exploit available, and it is added here. You can also load a query. Query means that you can save your filter as a query, then load it. So right now, first thing is the address. You can add the IP address that you want, then apply the filter. Here you can find all the vulnerabilities related to this IP address. If you want to clear it, just click clear and apply. It will take you back to all vulnerabilities. If you go to exploit available, choose yes, apply, and here is the vulnerabilities that have an exploitation. So we can also choose the critical one from them. So we have 35 results for this search. This is the filter you need to try in your lab. You can save the query or save assets. You can open a ticket for those findings, and you can export the results that you see here as a CSV file or a PDF file. Just now, let's go to the mitigated. Here, what they mean by mitigated? Mitigated are the vulnerabilities that were closed or patched by the admins, or vulnerabilities that the Tenable Security Center scanner is not or cannot find them again. So if you go to mitigated, nothing mitigated. Just a minute, clear all, sorry. Yes, here is the mitigated vulnerabilities in my system. So let's go to cumulative again. Let's choose severity, critical, high and medium, apply, and change the summary to IB summary. So all of these IP addresses have critical, high, and medium. The info is the lowest one. You can choose also the low. So right now, let's check our domain controller. If you click here on the IP address, it will show you, it will pop up here, information about the system. Here's the IP address, the NetBIOS name, DNS name, the MAC address, the ACR, and all of this information. Let's click on the result here, not the name. You can find out here all the vulnerabilities related to our domain controller. I will choose the first one. I will close the filter. Here is the detail list for this vulnerability on our domain controller.